Welcome to Page to Screen, the podcast where Nikki and Kristina discuss books that were turned into movies and films that were adapted from books. As always, we do remind you that spoilers lay ahead. Now, we invite you to decide with us the age-old question, which is better, the book or the movie?
Happy birthday to Kristina. I'm not going to sing anymore because that's going to be real bad. But welcome back to Page to Screen, and we're having a birthday. We're having a party.
It's my birthday. It's my birthday.
It's your party, and please don't cry on the podcast.
I might. Let's see what happens.
Ooh, the sass. She got 1 year older and 20 years sassier.
The other day I was watching the new Iron Chef competition on Netflix.
Love
and the chef said, "Thank you so much for allowing me to share my culture through food with you." And then I started to cry. So me crying, it could happen. Let's just see. Roll the
Wait,
dice.
which chef was that one? Because I watched the whole season. Wait, which competition was that one? That wasn't the chocolate one, was it?
No. It's the new one. It's the new Alton Brown one that they have.
Yeah, but which was what was the secret ingredient?
I don't remember, to be honest. I think it's the third episode. I think it was the third episode, if I'm remembering the order. I love him so much. He makes me so happy. Empty heart and empty stomach. I feel like when I do it, I sort of sound like Kevin from The Office.
My favorite, before we get into what we're actually supposed to talk about, my favorite is when he eats the hot pepper. He puts it in his mouth and all of a sudden he's just super sweaty. He's like... He's shaking like the kid in The Shining when he's trying to contact that guy to come and save his family. It's just like...
I like how we are like a minute and 12 in and we are completely off the rails immediately.
We haven't even said what we're talking about. Okay, this is the birthday episode. Listen, we had summer vacation for a long time, and we've only had one episode since then. So we're easing ourselves back in. Everybody, shut up.
Yeah,
it's her birthday.
It's my birthday. You're supposed to be nice to me.
She can say what she wants to.
And speaking of doing what I want,
yeah, Kristina had the birthday pick.
Yeah,
and we
I did.
The devil in the blue dress. Blue dress, devil with the blue dress on.
I wanted a noir, and I was really feeling some sort of detective thing. And then I had mentioned to my husband too that I felt bad that we had done a lot of books written by Black women, but we hadn't yet had a Black man as a writer. And he is actually the one who found this, which is Devil in a Blue Dress, which is like everything. It's perfect. Yeah. It's written by a Black guy, directed by a Black guy, starring a Black guy with a Black male character. Hello. Yeah. And it's a detective neo-noir. Perfect. Thank you so much. My first birthday present. Thank you. So we did Devil in a Blue Dress, which is the 1990 novel, the same name, written by Walter Mosley. Movie, same name, directed by Carl Franklin, like I said, starring Denzel Washington, Tom Sizemore, Jennifer Beals, Don Cheadle. Movie came out in 1995. So this is another fun thing that we got some good 90s shit going on.
This was, honestly, when you picked this, I was like, I have no idea what this is, and I hope I have the right book. And I was reading the book, and I was like, okay, great. I hope I can find the movie. And I found the movie, and as soon as I read who was, like, as I hit play and I was reading the names of the people, because I didn't look it up. I didn't want any spoilers.
Oh, nice. You didn't know anything.
Yeah, I went into this blind, and as the names are popping up on the screen, Jesse's looking at me going, are we the only two people who aren't in this movie? I was like, basically. It is the best of the 90s, really, in this film. I was very excited. And
well, I really like Jennifer Beals being in it. And it was funny because I think because I watched this with my husband Carlos too, and I think he missed her in the credits. So when she showed up, he was like, oh, Flashdance is in this? So Yeah, Jennifer Beals. And what's cool with Jennifer Beals is I feel like I haven't seen her in a while, and she was just in the Book of Boba in December.
Yeah.
So it's cool because we just saw like older, current Jennifer Beals, and then we're seeing her in this. So it's cool.
How do I get to be in a Star Wars?
I don't
Did I have to
know.
be big in the 90s?
Well, you have Dave Filoni's phone number. Just text
I
him. See,
should. I
I think they're
should.
filming on Tuesday. If you want to try then.
Wait, how do you know they're filming on? Are you in this? Are you in a Star Wars? Oh, shut up, Kristina. Um, we wish.
I'm going to London for 2 months, but don't ask me why.
Why?
Because I'm in Star Wars.
And now you're not.
Oh no! I fudged it all up once again.
You Tom Holland yourself right out of Star Wars.
No, I like when sometimes we find these like randos that we sort of add to our book list. Like there's always like the
Yeah.
big ones like Silence of the Lambs. I think a lot of people want to read that one. But then Devil in a Blue Dress, like I feel like I've heard the name Devil in a Blue Dress more, but I didn't realize it was a book and a movie.
It's I'm gonna get it over with now. I really loved this book and I really enjoyed
Yay!
this movie. And I liked it so much that I might do the thing that I did to Twilight and the thing I did to Ready Player One, because there's a whole series.
Yeah, there is a whole series.
I might could read more.
I might could.
I might could read some more of this. It was just so engaging and the characters were just so good. And I think what's really interesting about it is when you think about like film noir in general, you don't have a strong black lead in any film noirs that I have seen.
No.
So to have the same sort of like Humphrey Bogart-esque lens over a whole different group of individuals, it's perfect. It's that idea that if the story is good, it can translate across so many different types of like individuals anyone could populate in, and it was great. I did not expect the twist at all.
I didn't either. And I am so happy that we read the book because I feel like it's such a fun twist. And I feel like in the book, because it's not a visual medium, like it hits harder in the book. It's one of those, like, it's kind of like Fight Club. Like, I wish I had read Fight Club
Yeah.
before I saw Fight Club, because I just think that there's something about that type of twist that's a little bit easier to pull off in a book. And this one was so good. I was really happy that we read the book not knowing what the twist was. Because it's a good one.
It is a really good one, so we're not gonna spoil it.
No, we're not going to.
You guys have to read the book. And I wish the movie, when they do the reveal, it was more like the book reveal was.
Yeah.
Because it threw me. Let me tell you, I was like cooking at the time, and I was like, I'm sorry, what? And I was like, Jesse, you're gonna have to finish this. I have to finish this right now. Because like those last like 3 or 4 chapters of the book is just straight adrenaline.
Which I think that there's so much fun to because this is like neo noir, but I'm just gonna refer to it as noir like together. It's like punk music, like it's punk music. It's the umbrella of it. So there's this fun thing with noirs, and I think about it with like Maltese Falcon. The last moments of Maltese Falcon, or the last moments of The Thin Man, it's just a bunch of people talking and it's crazy and it's just a lot of energy, and that's energy that's following these like long shots and pans and people just walking down streets and sort of like taking a slow route to things. And that's the fun of these types of detective mystery pulpy storytelling, because they play with momentum in a different type of way that's super fun.
Yeah. It's not like Fast and the Furious, where it's like the final minutes
adrenaline the whole time.
Yeah. Like and that's what's so great about this book too and the movie, is there's this perfect ebb and flow. This relaxation of his house, which Honestly, he was like, it's just one bedroom and a bathroom and a kitchen. And I was like, I don't care. I'll move in tomorrow. The idea that he could sit at his window and look out at his trees, I was like, I'll be like, sign me up. I'm taking your house. Like, I would live
Mhm.
there in a heartbeat. But you have these moments where he's just drinking and just relaxing. He's arrested by the police. He's at
Yeah.
home drinking and relaxing. He's driving around Santa Monica. And it's like, what is, like, it really kept you on your toes the whole time because you didn't, it was perfect because you're like, trust no one. You know what I mean? At that point, you're like, you can't trust the cops. You can't trust your friends. You can't trust women. You can't trust anyone with money. You can't trust anybody. That was my takeaway. Trust no one.
Well, the one of the cool things about the book, and it almost seems so obvious and sort of dumb that it took so long to have a black male character as the lead of a book like this,
Hmm.
is that almost immediately you barely even need any type of conflict, additional B story conflict for him, because you've got the main story of the mystery that he's solving. And it's funny because like the mystery, it his driving force is he's got to pay his mortgage,
Yeah.
which is kind of funny because it's so simple and yet it means so much because of the fact that you barely need any conflicts because he's a black man.
Yeah.
That's the conflict right there. That's the thing that makes his life very difficult and makes things like run-ins with the cops more difficult. So in other books where the detective might have an additional driving force of like he's retiring soon, or he's just divorced and he's an alcoholic
Hmm.
or something like that, like this is just a dude who's living his life, like
Yeah.
moving here from Texas. He was in the military, like all this stuff. He's just like, if he was a white guy, it would just be his life. Like it would just be him starting a detective agency. And this is like a little bit different. And that alone makes it fun. And like the whole story is this great setup of creating the new status quo of Easy as sort of like that new private dick. And
Yeah.
it's so cool. It's the reason why like I'm like a little bit more excited to read more of it.
Yeah. It's very, all that stuff about if he were white, he would be very much like Eddie Valiant in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
I was thinking so much of Who Framed Roger
Yeah.
Rabbit reading this.
He'd be more like the movie version, not the book version. There is no genie. Trust me, there's no genie. But like Eddie's dealing with the death of his brother and he's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
That's his like his crutch there. And it's true. Easy doesn't need that because he is his own beeline.
Mhm.
And it's so interesting to read through it and know like if this were a typical, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Maltese Falcon situation, a lot of the deaths and the murders that are being talked about, especially at the beginning of the book, would have been the driving force to solve like this mystery. And because their skin color is different, and they even mentioned in the book, these murders and things aren't even front page news. They're back page news. Nothing big is happening until two white people die.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to have that as the, it's almost all of this death is secondary, even though it's
Mhm.
all connected to the main storyline.
Yeah.
I really did. I really wanted to. I'm going to read more. I know it because I really want to live in this world with them because I need to know what happens next.
Yeah. And it's I think there's something so lush about like 1940s LA and how corrupt it was. And I mean, you've got a little bit of everything. I mean, you've got the Hollywood stuff, you've got the time frame, post World War, you've got gangsters. I mean, it's like everything.
Yeah.
There's so much and it's so fun. There's like little things throughout the book that I thought was really cool just from a slightly different perspective. And this idea of like the underworld of LA and how it's not like a gate that you walk through and now you're in the underworld. It's a revolving door. Like
Yeah.
these people are going in and out of the underworld constantly. It's not
Yeah.
black and white.
Yeah. That was the thing too, is that there were so many crimes happening in this book,
Yeah,
but it didn't
exactly.
feel like it didn't feel bogged down by like, okay,
Mm-mm.
well, you've got like a a pedophile basically, and it's like, okay, but it all comes back to the main thing. It's not like now we're going to jump off over here and solve this and then we're going to jump back, which could have easily happened. Everything was very like really well put together, and at the end of the book you have this total understanding of this crazy world that is LA, where it's like, yeah, the rich people will never get in trouble because the mayor comes and eats dinner at your house.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. Like,
There is something to noir that I like, that where, and I was thinking about this with Nothing Lasts Forever too, because Nothing Lasts Forever, is the source for Die Hard, as a reminder to the listeners. And it's a lot more like detective noir than Die Hard is. And the thing about like Nothing Lasts Forever is that he ends up being a broken man, but he's basically on his last leg of humanity that he has in that book. But he's already lost a lot of his humanity because he's just like throwing his gun around at everybody.
yeah.
Like, he doesn't really care. And there were parts of this that I felt were a little hard to read. So like the whole pedophile thing, and when the guy's got like this kid and he's sort of like roughing him up in a very sexual way, and it's very
Yeah.
uncomfortable. And Easy says to himself, like, he thinks to himself, he doesn't care how the kid feels.
Yeah.
At all. The only thing that is bothering him about this situation is he sees what type of man this is, and he knows that it's the type of man who would do this to him too. He would, humiliate and embarrass him the way he's doing to this little boy. And that's the part that concerns him and scares him, because he doesn't want to be in that position. And there's something so inhumane about that, and so kind of brutal, that it makes me feel uncomfortable. But I sort of like books that put me in that position.
Yeah. It makes you really have to think about what's going
Yeah.
on. Because that's not the only awkward.
Oh, no.
There's when she tells him about her father,
Yeah.
there are so many twists in this book that you don't see coming. And then all of a sudden you're stuck in this like uncomfortable goo for a while, and there's no real way to release that. Like, she was telling that story and it was kind of like, oh God. And she's trying to justify it, and you're just like, please, no. And then after the bigger twist, she admits what was really going on, and it's worse. And you think to yourself, how could it have gotten worse than what you already said?
And I felt very Chinatown with all of that.
Yeah.
And Chinatown is so freaking good. And I feel like it's funny that this gave me the Chinatown vibes, because the Batman already did that this year.
The Batman.
The Batman and Zoe Kravitz, and like her storyline is very Chinatown. And I just kind of love that. Like, this is from 95. So, right? 95?
Or 1990. I think the movie's 95.
Or yeah. So, yeah, movie 95. So it's cool that, Chinatown is what, 70s, late 70s?
Yeah.
And you've got like Chinatown from the 70s, and you still feel it in the 90s and in 2022. I don't know. That's cool.
Yeah. So I don't think that specific thing is something you could ever not feel. Anytime you're just like, oh. And the fact that they're doing it while they're eating Chinese food just really bothered me. Because side note, the Chinese restaurant by me that I love dearly, and I knew everybody in there, just closed. So I am in mourning, which is why I'm wearing black.
If we lost our Chinese food place, I would riot.
Yeah. I am so distraught because they were the only place that had the meal that I was obsessing over forever, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't order anything, and I Googled them and it said permanently closed, and I died. So I'm basically a ghost. So it's so silly to get sad about something like that, but when it gives you...
Don't be... No, that's not it.
Yeah.
It's your nummies.
Yeah, it's my num nums. But now it's a good reason that I haven't been able to order it, because if I had been eating Chinese food while they were eating Chinese food and she was telling him that story, I probably wouldn't want Chinese food anymore.
Did you feel like I felt like we were talking about tropes a little bit before we started recording,
Hmm.
and this does something that I think is really fun where it sort of takes the tropes of all of these different noir and detective stories, and it makes Easy not only be this like guy who's tasked with trying to like figure part of the mystery out, but he almost ends up being a Forrest Gump like character, meeting all of these different
Yeah.
tropes, meeting all of these different detective standards. He sees the politician, he sees the two different versions of a femme fatale, the one who's like the easy one and the one who's like, a little bit more respectable, like all these different things. And yet it's done in a way where it doesn't feel obvious that that's what's happening.
Yeah. It is very much like everybody is their own stock character, but there's
Yeah.
so much life to them that you don't
Yes.
realize that that's what's happening. Like
Yeah.
you have the like rum runner, gangster guy. You have the brassy, like barkeep lady. You've got
Yeah.
the stereotypical big man bouncer. Like
Hmm.
it's like the bad friend who could be a good friend but is a bad friend sort of thing. Like it's all
The
there.
the guy I love, and I was happy that this was in the movie too, because I for some reason was like, oh, that would probably be the thing that gets cut. But the guy who's got the marble table that he
Yeah.
got from, what was it, his uncle,
Oh,
right?
Joppy. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like he's got the marble table that he inherited, and the marble table to him is like really important and really special, and so he always like protects it, because if this thing gets damaged, it's like this special thing to him. So it's cool because it's a financial special thing to him,
Yeah.
but it also has meaning, and it kind of represents who he is as a person. And that's really good writing when all of these different characters, them and you know what gives them drive and what is important to them. And it's just all of these very personal touches and stories, and to place it in the Black community at the time just is a lot more interesting, and everybody has more to work for, and more to be angry about.
Yeah. Yeah. And you add in that total distrust of police at
Yeah.
that time, and you understand why Easy is doing what he's doing.
Hmm.
Like the whole story with him going to the police station was
Yeah.
so disheartening, was so upsetting. That's another part where I got super uncomfortable, because
Yeah.
especially when he's talking about the mouse in the corner, I was like, I can't. I
I
can't with
know.
that. It was just like the book has a lot of moments that are hard to read,
Hmm.
but they're all worth it. Like when he goes down to
Hmm.
the pier and those guys are like like about to beat like the living daylights out of him, and Albright shows up. She's like ready to shoot him. Can I tell you about Albright? Okay. So there's a character, a white guy character named Albright. He wears white suits and he's got a southern accent. Do you know exactly who I pictured in my mind while I was reading this and was greatly upset that he was not in the movie?
Oh.
John Goodman as
Yeah,
Charlotte,
but I can see
as,
him. I can see him.
but not John Goodman the person. John Goodman who as his animated character in The Princess and the Frog as Charlotte's dad.
Okay,
Do you know
okay.
what I'm talking about?
For-
Like I saw him very southern, where he's
I
like
thought you were gonna say his animated character from Emperor's New Groove, and I'm like, where are we going with this?
that could
This
work
is
too.
strange.
No, no.
Pacha?
Yeah, I saw
You
him
want
like a
Pacha?
really nice poncho with a fun hat. I thought it'd be great. No, definitely like him in Princess and the Frog when he's
Yeah, I
like,
love him in Princess and the Frog.
because
He's so
he's
good.
constantly like pouring whiskey and drinking, and he's like easy.
Yeah.
I gave you. He says that one thing and he's like, I paid you, so I like, I own you. And I was like, first of all, no. But to hear it done in my head in a Southern accent, I was like, double negative. No, 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 no. Super bad.
Already fucked this one up.
And when it wasn't him in the movie, I was like, I'm sorry, you guys did a casting error. Don't get me wrong. But, like, did you not... Okay, get a time machine, watch Princess and the Frog, then go back in time and fix this right
Well,
now.
and John Goodman too in Oh Brother Where Art Thou? The Cyclops.
Don't
And
even.
isn't he in like a white suit in that movie?
That's one of my favorite movies. Jesse and I watch
I love
it
that
like...
movie. We thought you was a frog.
Jesse and I watch that movie probably like 10 times a year.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a Dapper Dan man. I love this movie so much. But
It's a
yes,
good movie.
like for some reason, as I was reading it, all I could think of was John Goodman in this role because they also say that he has, like, he's a very tall, yes. See, they say that he's like a very tall, broad-shouldered guy that, like, Albright is supposed to be like a bigger, almost football player-esque guy. Yes, just like that. See, I think, and at the time when this came out in the early 90s, John Goodman would have been a really popular person because he was on Roseanne. He would have been able to do this.
Yeah.
But they got Tom Sizemore instead, which is okay.
I like Tom Sizemore. I thought he did good.
I was going to tell Kristina about this earlier, but we were watching the movie. See, look, that's the guy from Princess and the Frog. That is Albright. Tell me that's not Albright. Look at him.
Yeah, that does look like Albright.
Right, and have him like draw a pistol on some white kids and be like, "Are you really sorry?" That's him. Don't even. Everybody read the book, but only read it if you're thinking about John Goodman's character from The Princess and the Frog. No, so before finishing the book and watching the movie, Jesse and I had been watching Heart and Souls, my favorite Robert Downey Jr. movie. It's the best Robert Downey Jr. movie.
What are you yelling at? She's like, she looked over.
I'm yelling at everybody. I'm yelling into the microphone.
She looks so mad, guys.
I am mad. You won't like me when I'm angry.
I'm always angry.
I am. Fun fact, I really am.
I really am too. It's been rough.
Tom Sizemore's in Heart and Souls, and he plays a gangster guy in Heart and Souls, like a greaser gangster who tries to rob a guy. It's so... Stop everything, watch Heart and Souls, and come back to the podcast and we'll talk. But yeah, we literally had just watched that, and then like 2 nights later, we were watching this movie, and Jesse goes, "Oh, that guy looks so familiar," and I was like, I feel like I've just seen him in something, and I'm not exactly sure. And we were sitting there for a minute, and he said something, and Jesse and I both look at each other, and we're like, oh my god, it's the guy from Heart and Souls. Very excited. It was a good moment for us. That was my story. Sorry. Not sorry.
When we were watching the movie, Carlos also missed that Don Cheadle was in it. So when Don Cheadle showed up, he was like very excited that Don Cheadle showed up, and he called him Baby Don Cheadle.
He was a baby. Oh my god. Listen, when his name, I told Kristina I did not look at the credits for this movie. I didn't look up this movie before I found it on HBO Max. Thank God for HBO Max.
Which, by the way, we looked out because did you see when it's leaving HBO Max?
When?
Today.
Stop. No, I wanted to watch it again.
Today's the last day. So you can watch it today, but as of midnight tonight, gonzo.
The Muppet?
Gonzo like the Muppet.
Oh, Camilla. That's the name of his stupid head. Yeah. Anyways.
Don't call her stupid. She deserves respect.
She does deserve respect. I apologize, Camilla.
Yeah.
I don't apologize
to
right. Gonzo. But I didn't look up anything about it, so when the credits started to roll and Don Cheadle's name came up, I literally just was like, I'm done. This is going to be the best. This is going to be the best movie.
He was so good.
He was really good.
He was so good. He had some of my favorite lines in the whole movie.
I do wish, though, that they had let him play the character of Mouse more like he is in the book. And I wish we would have built that up a little bit more because Mouse in the book is a very bad guy. A
He's a bad
terrible guy.
guy.
A terrible guy with like gold capped teeth and a long history of crazy. And I loved this character in the book. When he finally shows up in real life and not in one of Easy's flashbacks, I was like, I know I'm going to really like this guy. He's going to do something I'm not going to like, but I'm really going to like him. And then he proved me right. He did something I didn't really like, but that's okay. Because I still liked him in the end. And I hated myself for liking him so much.
Well, in the book, he is more like, oh, you know what? Actually, I know exactly what it is. In the book, he is more like what's his face in Train Spotting, the really volatile one.
Yes.
Yeah, he's more like him in the book, where he's just like very volatile and scary, like not funny. Like he's kind of scary. And then in the movie, he's more like Jason Mantzoukas, Raffi in The League. Like there's a part in The League where they're like, "Oh, we told you to take care of it," and he's like, "Yeah, I set the car on fire. It means take care of it." Like, wait a minute, I told you to take care of my grandma's cat. What'd you do? I set it on fire. So there's like the part where Don Cheadle's like, well, if you didn't want him dead, then why'd you leave him with me for? Like,
that was my favorite line in the movie.
I love that line so much.
Because it's just so, and it was so perfect for Mouse to say this.
It's a very Mouse line.
It was so funny. It was just so funny. It was this movie, for how serious some of the subject matter is, was hilarious. While they took away, I guess we're going to start talking about the movie and the book now, like we always do. But while they took away stuff from Mouse in the movie, I really appreciated the part where Denzel as Easy, because it's Denzel.
Yeah, you talked about Denzel, yeah.
Baby Denzel. When you first see it, I felt embarrassed when when the movie opened and you see him and he's just in that wife beater, and I was like, Denzel's not wearing a shirt. I can't look at you. Stop. Like, I can't look at, hi Denzel. Like, what are you doing?
His arms are huge.
Gigantic. And he's got such
Did you see his arms?
baby face.
And the thing is about Denzel Washington, this is 1995. Like, and he's got those arms. That was like, nowadays we're so used to like Chris Hemsworth and Chris Evans and like all these like big guys, where even like the dude who plays Hopper on Stranger Things like got ripped. You know what I mean? Like, we're so used to like everybody getting like super in shape that like 1995 Denzel Washington's arms, like the other people who he's sitting next to at the Oscars are like not like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, it is like, whoa, like.
And it's not an unattainable arm either.
No.
It is not like Chris Hemsworth, like, I'm going to work out 4 months to get this body.
Things, if you know what I mean.
Oink, oink.
Wink, 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 wink.
Denzel just looks like an elevated, normal person, and that really adds to everything that Easy was.
He's such a good detective. Like, him as Easy. I want a Denzel Washington, like 5 movies of just Easy doing shit.
Well, did you read the trivia about this movie? It was supposed to happen. How does this movie have such high ratings on Rotten Tomatoes? And they were like, I think we're just going to do a one-off. No.
A shame. Shame.
I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it right now. Make it into a TV show.
Hell
Right now. Every season is a different book.
Yes. Hell yeah.
See? We're all on the same. Denzel can play Joppy this time around in the TV show.
That's so cute. That would be so cute. That's such a good idea. Yeah.
But we gotta get Don Cheadle back.
And he's still Mouse.
He's only Mouse. He can only play Mouse. That's it. those are my 2 requirements for this TV show.
I didn't shoot him. I choked him. Told you not to shoot him. I didn't.
Perfect casting. We're done here. But
I like it too. Wait, when they're sitting at the table and he's like drunk and he just like wakes up really fast and he like pulls the gun on Denzel and Denzel's like, easy. And then when he like goes, he's like sitting there and he looks at the other guy who's completely passed out. He's like, where do you think you're going? guy's just passed out. He pulls a gun on him. Where do you think you'd go?
That I feel like this role was perfect for Don Cheadle.
So good. I loved him. He like stole scenes for me.
He really did. That drunk scene is really good.
It's a really good drunk scene.
Fastest gun in Texas.
And the Texas thing I thought was interesting too, to have someone go from Texas to California was
Mhm.
sort of a fun transition.
Yeah, it's very like fish out of water.
Yeah.
So he's already off on uneasy footing in his
Yeah.
new area, but he doesn't want to lose it because he has the most perfect house. I can't even with this house. It's like, let me just, in the movie, it's even better. In the book, it sounds so cute. It's got like flowers in the front and an apple tree and a little bit of yard. And I was like, done, I'll move in. Then I saw the house in the movie and I was like, I will literally steal this house. It's got nice big like windows right in the front and it's got all these trees and then why did they add in a guy trying to cut down all the trees in the neighborhood?
I was so confused with that.
Thank you. There's a guy
I
who's
was
trying to
like,
cut down trees in the neighborhood in the movie.
yeah. And Carlos at some point said, is he gonna come back and do like something crazy, like save him? And well, when I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen with that.
Yeah. Well, he did try to help it easy.
No, yeah, he does, but it was a little,
They don't really explain why he's there.
yeah.
I think that was my biggest issue with that, is that we took away more from Mouse to give a guy, to get this guy who
Well,
cuts down trees.
it's like in Harry Potter when they take out a bunch of stuff, but then they add multiple scenes of Filch trying to put,
Oh, the
frames on a
proclamation
wall. It's like, what? We're spending 8 minutes on Filch hanging frames, and you didn't have enough time for entire characters. Okay.
Yeah. That's okay. We don't need spew, do we?
Yeah.
Not like that was a major plot point or anything that's going to come back later on, but that's fine. You do you.
Don't get me started on spew.
This is why we're not going to do Harry Potter. We're just going to do a full episode on spew, you guys. But, no, I thought it was really...
Harry Potter and the audacity of this bitch.
Snap. The library is open, apparently. Kristina's reading everyone for filth. I wonder, now that I think about it, I wonder if the tree guy is in another book.
I bet you're right.
And that he is a character that they were hoping, like, okay, so we have Denzel, we have, Don Cheadle, and we have the weird tree guy. And they'll all come back for the next film based off of the next book. And
I bet you're
something
completely
happens
right.
there. We'll find out when we read it.
That feels very much like the James Bond books and movies too. Like, well, we're gonna borrow a little bit from this one and pluck it here because we think it'll make more sense later.
Yeah. It's definitely, now I'm gonna have to, like, it's official. I'm going to read the next book and find out if there's a weird guy who steals trees. And if there's not, I'm gonna have to call Denzel. I have his bar cart. I should call him. Why'd you make that face?
Because I found on moviechat.org a man very upset about the tree cutting guy.
Okay. Now you have to tell us what this man said.
This is posted 19 years ago. Oh, I won't say the name just in case.
Don't say the name, but tell us what he said about the tree guy.
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued.
You're very intrigued. The title of this complaint is in all caps. It's why with 2 question marks. Why is this dude cutting down their trees? Why? I don't get it. I know it's in part of the book, but it's just not like this. Is it to get some humor in the movie? Maybe there's more of him later on in the books. I don't understand.
19 years later, we still don't understand.
He's very angry. I don't understand.
Why? Question mark, question mark.
Why moviechat.org?
You know it's official because it's got a .org. Not anyone can have those.
No, there is something though to the tree guy and to Easy like chasing him down all the time, which is
Oh,
very
it's
funny.
very funny. He's like, get away from there. It's almost like a dog peeing on a
Yeah.
bush. Like, and you're yelling at the dog, can stop. No, no. And he's just running down the street with that wheelbarrow. Get out of that
And
yard.
the way that the Easy does it too, one of the times when he's just like he just kind of
Yeah.
like lunges at him, and the guy goes running. I don't even think he says anything.
I don't think he does either. He like gets up off his porch. He's like,
You know, Denzel Washington is so fun and he's so good. And I thought that he made me like Easy more in the movie than I did in the book
yeah,
because I just like Denzel Washington. And there's a certain mode that Denzel Washington gets in that I find so charming, which is the I've lost all of my fucks.
yeah,
So now I need you to not be bullshit to me. Like that Denzel is so good. And it's the one where he's talking to the guy and they're standing in the library and he's like, well, you know, you can't do this because I'm friends with the mayor and the, district attorney or whatever. And he's like, oh, really? So why don't you call them up and they can help you out?
yes, yes. When Easy, that was my favorite part of the book too. It's like,
Yeah, when he kind of like that, and that's the moment where I think the new Easy's born.
yes, when he becomes like tough, when he realizes that he's not going to get anywhere with these people unless he acts like these people,
Yeah,
and he tries to be like tough white guy Easy. That's
Yeah.
when everything gets so insane and so crazy for him, and and then that's when he starts getting the voice in his head
yeah,
telling him like, it's not worth it this time. Wait a minute, then kill
Yeah.
him. Like, okay.
he's got his own like Jiminy Cricket in his
Yeah.
head.
I loved it. And they allude to it a lot in the movie. Like they show his old war photos and stuff like that. But in the book, they really go into detail about the stuff that he dealt with at a young age in the war.
And killing people and seeing dead bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish they would have brought a little of that, like just a sprinkle of that into the movie a little bit more to really understand his mindset and why he's very much like, I don't want to really be involved in this.
Yeah.
Because I've been involved in it and I hated it.
Yeah.
It's just I just wanted a little bit of that.
Yeah. No, I mean, because it affected so many men and the way he says it too, there's a point where he said, I wish I had written it down. It was a really good quote. He says something like, I already spent too many days walking over dead white men.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. And it's just like Jesus. Like he's not, that's not a joke, guys. Like he saw like dead bodies and there's a few where he like talks about the specifics of like heads blown off, like sometimes they didn't even have heads, they were blown off.
Yeah.
And like all these like different it
Well, he bayonets a guy in the face.
yeah.
Like that for me was like, because they mentioned it early on where he like ripped the skin off of a guy's face. I was like, that must be like, you must be like hyperbole, you didn't actually rip a guy. Oh no, bayonet to the face.
He did.
No, you did. Okay, I apologize. I take it back. Okay. You did it. Sorry, I'm so sorry, Easy. I hope you're okay.
I mean, just think about for people and mostly men who were forced to do those things. And as a Black man, you're doing it for a country that kind of doesn't give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing, and this is like the only thing that like my only critique sort of with the movie where they could have like gone into it a little bit more is like the whole GI Bill and that like fucks over a bunch of Black men. Like it's just, you did all of that and then you come back and the cops are still roughing you up.
Yeah.
And you come back and you do that and you're getting paid to figure out this mystery and it's just a bunch of white people treating you like shit.
It's
Cool.
Yeah, it's very, it kind of reminds me a little bit the whole like coming back and being treated like dirt. Kind of like when we read Born on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
And everyone came back from Vietnam and everyone was like, what were you even doing over there? It's like, you told us to go over there. It's kind of like what's happening now when they're like, don't eat avocados so you can't have a house. And I'm like, we have too many avocados. Eat avocados. You can't have it both ways. You know what I mean? That's very of the time, avocados. Like, you can't
Yeah,
have both.
putting your bayonet through a guy's face is exactly like eating a lot of
Yeah.
avocados.
I mean, it might look the same. I've never bayoneted a guy in the face.
I personally would not know.
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry,
No,
Kristina. Do you need me to research this? Hold on. Let me go buy a bayonet. Yeah, the consistency is like avocados, Kristina.
listen, one gives you omega-3 fatty acids, the other one doesn't, and I always
Yeah.
get confused.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure one of them gives me night terrors, but I don't remember which one. So I basically avoid both.
Uh, so I avoid both. Wait, what was I talking about? Okay, wait, okay. No, you're right. And with Born on the 4th of July, the expectation for him was for him to be propped up on these stages in his fucking wheelchair and for everybody to, clap, everybody clap on the 4th of July. Okay, no, you go away. We don't want
Yeah.
to look at the horrors of war anymore. And with this one, like, all of these white people expect him to be like, yes, thank you so much for that,
Hmm.
sir. And he finds his way to stand up for himself and send some of their own shit back to them, but also be quiet.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you got to be quiet, sometimes you don't, sometimes you watch and you listen, and then other times you figure out when to play. And like, that's so much fun. And even like the beginning of the book talks about how and I always kind of have empathy for this. Like, I feel bad in a way. It's just like the same way that women kind of get shit on for like saying the way I talk, like
Yeah.
the Valley speech, kind of, the Zoe Deschanel thing, like you say like and everything and ums and stuff.
Yeah.
But where he talks how he specifically speaks in more black slang and language, but he can talk like a white person if he wants to.
Yeah. He can fit in
Like,
anywhere.
and he chooses it, and you kind of like read it in the dialogue the way he speaks.
Yeah. No, and that's like, I think that's kind of like you said, it's just like how women do it all the time. Like, if you're in an office setting, you don't want to be too, you don't want to be too bossy, so you tone yourself down a little bit. And
Right.
you don't want to seem too, you don't want to seem dumb, so you use the bigger words. You don't say like, "Oh my god," or "yes." You don't say any of that. And then when you hang out with your friends, you're a completely different person. Yeah, easy slips in and out of all of these different areas, and he's kind of like, he's able to be friends with anybody, and I think that really
Yeah.
goes with his nickname of Easy. He's just an easy guy to get along with. Like, he knows so many people, and he slips in and out of all of these different characters and parts. And like you said, he also does this thing where he's like, he mentions it the first time he goes to see this is the Todd, is that her former fiance, Todd Carter? When
Yeah, I
he
think so.
goes to Mr. Carter's office, and the white person comes up and asks him, like, no, it's when he first goes to see Mr. Albright, John Goodman, and the white security guard comes up and is basically like, what are you doing? Who are you here
Yeah.
to see? And he
Yeah.
says that he, from a young age, trained himself to eliminate anything from his mind when a white authority figure starts talking to him, so he can't get in trouble for anything. And it's just like all of these little pieces of Easy.
And too, like, the yeah, and there's two things to that, because he also says, like, next time have him leave a note, that way we don't have to deal with this.
Yeah.
And then he's talking about how the white guy who like didn't see color,
Oh,
and
yeah.
like and he was a white guy who tried to pretend like everything was cool between the two of them, that in doing that it erases
Mm-hmm.
Easy. And I like love that. I love that this is in the 90s, and like people have been trying to explain that, like, you can't say you don't see color or you're colorblind or we're all the same, or
Yeah.
all these it's such like a privileged white person thing to say because when you do that, you're erasing culture, you're
Yeah.
erasing the difficulties that other people have that you don't have. And it was just kind of fun to be in his head and hear him like reading people, but figuring out how to speak to them and how
Yeah.
to handle them differently each time. Fascinating.
It's such a progressive novel
Hmm.
because it's not set in the 90s. It's
No,
set in
but
the
it could be.
It definitely could be. It's set in the 40s, but everything he's saying is so not even of the 90s, it's so like now.
Hmm.
Like especially with that whole situation about like basically whitewashing the pain of another culture because you
Yeah.
don't see color, which is, such a blanket statement to put on things like, "Oh, I'm not racist, I don't see color." N- no, that's not how that works. You can't just say
Bitch, are you
that.
colorblind?
Yeah.
Because what do
Yeah.
you mean?
Like, don't be stupid. Yeah, sure, Jan. Like, you can't just say that because it's true. You're taking away this sort of like autonomy that this person has. Because
Mhm.
what you're saying to them now is like, no, we're literally the same. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Basically taking away everything that they've ever, all of their pain, the tragedies of their families, everything. You're just like, no, it's okay. It's like, we're fine. It's like when people are like, "Oh yeah, no, Italians had it bad too."
Yeah.
Oh, no, 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 no. Listen, listen. What they went through, whole other world. Okay, like don't even like.
No, it's the same. 'Cause your family's Italian, mine's
Yeah,
Irish, and the Irish like to say that too. Like, well, we had it bad too. It's like, well, we did, sure, but not
yeah.
quite as bad.
We had it bad. Like oh, we had to like wait for like an hour to get on a ride. They had it bad. Like they weren't even offered an opportunity, like it's apples and oranges. Don't compare it and don't say that you're colorblind. Like don't. Here's some fun topics. Don't do it, okay?
And I know this is like a history of pain and stuff, but I also like immediately think of all of the Irish maids that had shit like diseases
Yeah.
and they just kept cooking and cleaning for people. Like the
Like
typhoid Mary type
typhoid Mary.
stories, but there's like a lot of them and it's like mostly Irish women like not giving a fuck, just spreading
Yeah.
dysentery. Like we kind of were shitty too for a while.
The Irish were like, you hate us? Deal with it. Like,
Oh yeah, you're going to cut my pay? Well, don't worry, I was shit in your porridge.
yeah.
Eat that. A little bit different from slavery, guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just a little, just a minor difference. Yeah, okay.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Stop. I do wish that the twist in the movie had been, a little bit more like the book because there's this amazing scene. There's the whole like she gets kidnapped situation that happens is balls to the wall insanity. And it's very much like all of the classic film noir. And
Yeah.
I don't understand why they didn't want to. I wonder if it's because there were too many characters. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I really wanted to see that on screen because they go to like Easy finds the girl that he's been looking for and hides her away. Wink. Like
He's got a storage,
yeah,
like drawer under his bed.
yeah, like a secret lockbox.
He just threw her in there with some Oreos in a bucket.
Yeah, she's like, you'll be fine. It puts the
You'll be
lotion
fine.
on its skin or else it gets the hose again. You'll be fine. But Easy tries to save her, hide her, because he knows that all these people are after her. And they end up finding her, kidnapping her, taking her to Albright's house in like the Hollywood Hills. And all of a sudden it is a like bang bang shoot 'em up. Like everything that could happen happens in this one chapter. Easy has one of Mouse's guns and is shooting in the windows, and Albright shooting at Easy, and then I don't want to say who else is there because it like kind of like ruins the twist a little, and that
I ruined
so
it.
Do you want me to say who else is there? Like
Yeah.
who one of the bad guys is?
Go ahead.
I don't
We
want
warned people at the beginning
we
that
do.
we're gonna have
Spoilers do
spoilers.
lay ahead. Joppy is there shooting at him, and Joppy's his best friend. Joppy is a turncoat. My goodness, he's there and he's shooting, and everyone's shooting, and there's bullets everywhere, and she's there naked for some reason, and all of this stuff is happening, and then Mouse shows up and saves the day. He literally saves the day, and the best part about that scene in the book is that Joppy tries to leave, and we don't know what happened to him. There's no explanation for what's happening. And Albright is about to shoot Easy. Mouse shoots Albright, and Albright jumps out the window, gets in his car, and drives away. And Mouse is like, I got him! And it's just he's so happy. He's so happy. And then there's after they do the big reveal of the big twist right there in that scene, Mouse goes out because they're going to drive her to the YMCA, in case you're wondering. Well, it was the Young Women's Christian Association, the YWCA. What? Represent. They drive her to...
Wait.
What?
Is that what the YMCA stands for?
Yeah, Young Men's Christian Association. It's a church organization. Oh my God, did you not know this?
No, I thought it was just like YMCA.
So I work for a branch of the YMCA. Not like an actual YMCA branch. I work higher up in the company.
Brag.
The C stands for Christian, and I have off on Good Friday. So, yeah, it's a Christian church group. So it's we don't pay tax on our swag.
So you answer to the big guy.
Oh, yeah, the man upstairs.
He's at the tippity top of the CEO chain, huh?
Oh, yeah, he's definitely telling me they need more treadmills. No, he's not.
Why didn't they change it to YPCA? Young People's Christian whatever.
Well, they used to be separate. It used to be, the YMCA is... Hey everyone, here's a history lesson about the YMCA. YMCA has been around for years, and it started in England. And it was a place where men could go and read the Bible and stuff during all the Protestant-y weird stuff that was going on before it came over to the United States. So
when did senior aerobics at 2 p.m. start?
At 2 p.m. That was a trick question. So it became a thing because it was usually men who needed places to stay. They were traveling salesmen, things like that. So there were actual places where you could sleep at the YMCA, much like in the song, the YMCA. You could have a good meal. You can do whatever you feel. Young man. They started that, and then once women started joining the workforce and things, we had the Young Women's Christian Association because we had to keep them separate. Men and women couldn't sleep in the same places. Wink, wink. We didn't want that happening.
No.
And then the Young Women's Christian Association sort of melded with the YMCA once they started taking away being able to sleep there.
So why didn't they call it the YWCA?
I don't know. Because the YMCA had been around a lot longer. It was already a brand. The
Feels like
YMCA is
sexism.
over 100 years old.
Feels like sexism.
It is sexism. But it's, it's a church group, so what can you do? Anyways.
So easy.
And then I lost my
sir.
job. I don't think anyone I work with listens to this. And if you do, please let me know in an email.
I don't rate, subscribe.
Yeah. Rate, subscribe, and don't tell my manager. Unless you are my manager. Hey.
Hi.
What's up? Anyways, so Easy leaves with her. We're going back. Okay, so Mouse shot Albright, right? And he's super pumped about it. And then we have the big twist reveal, and they're going to bring her to the Young Women's Christian Association to pick up her bag that she left there. And they go outside, and this is one of my favorite parts of the book, is Mouse is outside, and he can see the trail of blood, and he's like, I told you I got him. Mouse is so happy about the littlest things.
I love Mouse.
I think Mouse is my favorite character in the whole book. I would have to say that.
I know
so
who
good.
Mouse is.
He's Don Cheadle.
I meant the character.
I was like, I know who he is too. I watched
That's
the
just
movie.
proud of me being able to look at an actor and go, "That's Don Cheadle."
That's Don Cheadle. Hey, that's Don Cheadle. Look over there. It's Don Cheadle.
No, Don Cheadle doesn't have gold teeth.
I
don't know if this is him.
Are you really Don Cheadle?
He takes the gold caps off.
It's like Superman. Gold caps on. Mouse! Gold caps off. Wait a minute. Are you Don Cheadle?
Where
No.
did Don Cheadle come from?
Yeah.
I'm not stupid.
Wait, where did
Where'd
he
he
go?
go?
Don Cheadle's just gone.
Mouse, did you see Don Cheadle walk away?
It's just, I love how in both the book and the movie, the femme fatale and the insane best friend just go away. You know what I mean? They're just like, peace, deuces. They just leave. There's no consequence for either of their actions.
No.
And I wonder if they come back. I would be surprised if Mouse doesn't show back up in any of the books.
Yeah.
He must have to.
No, and that's the thing, is that the story also like kind of creates a fun cast of characters that can come back around for a while. And I like just like their names, like Joppy, Mouse, Easy. What was it? Daphne Ray? Isn't it Daphne Monet?
Yeah, Daphne Monet.
Daphne Monet, such a good, and her real name's like Ruby. It's like Ruby something, right?
Yeah.
But like,
And then we had Dolores.
Yeah, like such good fun names.
Yeah.
And I like again, like I kind of want to read more because I feel like I want to see some of these people come back, and then I also want to meet new people. I want to meet new people from this world.
Daphne Monet is definitely giving me Miss Chablis vibes if she were a drag queen. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, no, I could. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Big magnolia in her hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. She's all like Lady Sings the Blues, you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
She's in it.
Yeah.
Start calling her Miss Holiday. Oh, I love it. I'm here for it.
Speaking of, the soundtrack of this movie was really good.
Yes. Everything about this movie was great. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. From the minute they showed the main downtown with that old school baby bassinet, the cars, the fascinators, I was done.
They did a really good job because there's always the joke with a period film where there's one block. Like they get one block and 3 cars and that's it. And you see the same car like repeat and like the same thing. And then it's like you open in on a street scene that feels very lush and vibrant, and it has depth to it. And even like you mentioned the bassinet, which is funny because I noticed the bassinet too. And the cool thing about it is that there's like a lady and she's like walking to the left and she's pushing a bassinet, and then she passes another person pushing a different bassinet and it's a different type. And I liked that because it's clearly someone who like went to, some antique store and they're like, okay, we got one. We got a second one. Yeah. We're going to put both in the scene.
Because those bassinets probably cost like $100 each, and they were like, we're going to use them. We spent $100 on these bassinets. Did you see who produced this movie?
No, I didn't.
Jonathan Demme, our bestie. Jonathan Demme from Silence of the Lambs.
It's so funny how we like leapfrog things and don't realize how we're doing it.
How it's very like it feels like a very small community of people who make books into movies. sometimes, where it's like, okay, so Jonathan Demme is, behind, like, the driving force behind Silence of the Lambs. He's the
Mhm.
director. He does Philadelphia with
Yeah.
Denzel and wants him to be in this movie that he almost directed.
It's
He
so
and
crazy.
I praise my, praise the CEO of my company that Jonathan Demme produced it and didn't direct it, because
Yeah.
I feel like there are some scenes in the book, some very gratuitous sex scenes in the book that they shot and cut
Yeah.
from the movie, and I think it was the right choice to cut those because it
Yeah.
didn't really move the story along the way they were telling it in the film. And I our best friend Jonathan Demme, I think, would have left those in.
Yeah, and, like, the only one that's kind of necessary is the one with her and Easy at the beginning
Yeah.
when they're in the other room. That one is super necessary to the
Yeah.
story, and, like, that one needs to be in there, and I thought that it was done pretty well. It's,
Yeah.
like, it's exactly like the book, and even, like, it talks about, like, her being sweaty and stuff, and, like, the
Mhm.
camera, like, actually zooms in on the sweat. Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty well done, but yeah, like, not everything though is kind of needed, and I think you're probably right.
Yeah. Given what I know from Silence of the Lambs, like,
Yeah.
we didn't we didn't need it.
No, this was, like, really well done, and
Mhm.
everything felt like it fit nicely. Even, like, with, like, Jennifer Beals being cast, like, she's kind of, like, really good casting
Mhm.
too for the part. It's just it feels very kismet.
Yeah.
I wish that this was a more well-known movie.
Same. Like,
Yeah.
I honestly, the book and the movie, until you pick them, I just would have never thought about them.
Mhm.
And I'm so glad you picked these for your birthday pick because I thought it was great. Like, I've had such a fun time with this. Like, and it's weird because you feel like this would be something. If Turner Classic Movies can play angels in the outfield, why
Yeah.
are you not playing this? If you could play
No,
Overboard.
that's like a perfect thing to mention because I was going to say I could see where as a kid when they played like Jerry Maguire a lot on TV or Con Air a lot on
Mhm.
TV. If you throw in Devil in a Blue Dress, this would be more of a well-known,
Yeah.
household film. Like I think it's better than a lot of the movies that they did play over and over again from the 90s. And this feels like one of those TV movies.
Yeah.
And that's not like a made for TV movie, but it feels like a movie that would go into a lot of airplay on TV. And I wish that it had been.
Yeah, this feels like a TBS sort of situation.
Yeah.
Like Saturday afternoon in the summer in Florida kind of situation. You know what I'm feeling, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
nothing else to do. Let's watch
It's a
a
little too
marathon of
hot
movies.
to go outside. It
Yeah.
might rain.
It would slide in between like Twister and like the
Yeah.
people under the stairs. Do you know what I mean? Like that block.
I've never seen People Under the Stairs.
Christina, they used to play it after Twister like every weekend. I must have seen that movie 100 times because I was just like too hot in Florida to find the remote and change the channel. Like, oh, I
Is
guess
it
it
a
was
horror movie?
ish. Yeah,
Ish.
ish. Honestly, fun fact about the people under the stairs: the first time I actually watched it was in a hotel room in Orlando, Florida, when my family was going to Universal Studios. Um, and we
Wait,
could only
is this
get
the
one
one in
channel.
Spanish?
Yeah, we could only get one channel. It was in Spanish.
I remember this story.
I was like, that's fun. And then I was scared to use the shower because we had done the Alfred Hitchcock soundstage thing that they used to have at Universal. And they did the scene from Psycho. And the shower curtain in Psycho is all white. And we got back to the hotel room and I realized that the shower in our bathroom had an all white shower curtain. And I was scared I was going to die. So there you go.
All your fun family
Oh,
memories.
yeah, yeah. You know, it's real fun being a small child scared of shower curtains. Two thumbs way up.
I'm trying to see some. Okay. Oh no. I wanted to see if I could say People Under the Stairs in Spanish, but I cannot. Debajo de las no. Not very good with my Spanish.
Womp womp. Okay. So, I don't know if there's much else we can say about the book and the movie.
Well, I'm kind of curious with our big question of
Oh, which was better?
which which one was better? Because I kind of have a feeling, and I don't know.
I am really torn. Really
Yeah.
torn between which was better, the book or the movie, because I really loved both,
Yeah.
honestly, and I got a lot of joy out of both the book and the movie, and I honestly didn't think that I would. I might lean a little bit closer to the book just because there are things in that book that I really wish had translated
Yeah.
onto the screen. But I think this is a toss up. I think it really depends. Like, it's not so far out of the realm of a almost full page to screen adaptation because there are scenes that are completely direct. Like when he stands up to his boss and he tells him, like, you can call me Mister, and it's like,
I
brilliant,
love
thank you.
that part. Yeah.
I loved it. Like, and that happens right at
Yeah.
the beginning of the movie, but it happens like 15 chapters into the book.
Yeah.
It's like, yes. But yeah, where are you standing?
I think I like the movie more.
Yeah.
But it's really fucking close.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to pick the movie, but I think I do only because I like Denzel Washington so much.
He's so
And
good.
I think that there's a little bit more vulnerability and a little bit of a soft side to him in this that
Mm-hmm.
was not always, I won't say it wasn't there in the book, but it wasn't as like evident
Yeah.
in the book. And I don't know. I really like the movie, but it's hard to say. Like I
It's
feel like
really
I'll
hard.
say I feel like I'm gonna say the movie right now.
Yeah.
But if I think about it in 2 days, I'll probably change my mind.
If they had cast John Goodman as Albright, hands down the
I
movie.
liked Tom Sizemore. I
I
thought
liked
he
him
was
too.
great.
I thought he was good too, but there's a couple of scenes. The big one that gets me John Goodman vibes is Easy in Albright's office, and they're
Yeah.
pouring the whiskey, and he's telling him all these stories about how he was a lawyer in Georgia, and
Mhm.
that whole section, I was like, I didn't know John Goodman was in this book. Like, this is brilliant. That's a little, like, I could not move on from there. Like, I was reading the book as if it were John Goodman.
You
That
know,
was it.
there was a comment, I think it's that scene where Easy thinks to himself how the big fancy CEOs keep alcohol at their desk too, but they
Yep.
keep it under the desk,
Yeah.
whereas these guys keep it on top of the desk. And I loved that. Like there's so many little like detective voiceover
Yeah.
comments, like lines that are so good. Just like observations on people and observations on the bullshit of life and society. And like that one was one I really liked. Like those guys have the same thing. It's just under the
Yeah.
desk.
I, okay. Graphic novel.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I wonder if it's actually been done. Like I would be surprised.
I would, visually there are parts of this book that, I understand they can't put on screen, but if there was a medium in between the book and the movie, it would have to be a graphic novel, and I would devour it. I would be all about it. It would be
Yeah, it looks like they haven't been smart enough to think about that one.
TM. I'll write to him. TM. We own the rights. I know a perfect person to draw the illustrations for us.
No, there's actually Parker is a graphic novel series that is like a detective
Yeah.
and it's really cool. And you like if you came into a comic book shop and you asked about that, I'd be like, okay, we don't have that, but you might like this.
Yeah. I so what we've what we've settled on is you currently like the movie. I currently like
Yeah.
the book. We need a TV series and a graphic novel.
Yeah.
So it's
With
not
Don
that big.
Cheadle starring in everything,
Yeah, Don
including the
Cheadle.
graphic novel.
Yeah. I want the graphic novel read on Audible by Don Cheadle.
Hell yeah.
I want the graphic novel to be like one of those kids' books where it's like doodle-doo, turn the page, but
Yeah.
it's all Don Cheadle, and instead of like doodle-doo, it's like gunshots. You know? Turn the page.
Turn the page.
Or like a breaking like alcohol bottle, just like turn the page.
Shit.
Uh, but now we've come to the most important part of the podcast.
Yes.
And it's Kristina's birthday, and we're gonna do a book list.
Book list.
Book list. um, so we talked about this, and I like where we put it.
Yeah.
It's so every time we open up the book list, I'm still surprised by what we did, because we're coming up to an anniversary show. So looking at this, I'm like, wow. What? Wow. You know what I mean? I sound like Owen Wilson. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Ka-chow, ka-chow. You know, from the Cars movie. Anyways, Kristina, since it's your birthday, do you want to do the book list?
Sure.
Birthday
Yeah.
book list.
Do it. Okay.
Do it in your best Don Cheadle.
No. So the book list is as follows. Starting at number 1, the 2022 darling, Casino Royale, starring Mads Mikkelsen. Number 2, a movie which can have another adaptation, The Princess Bride.
Oh, this is the last time you do the book list.
Number 3, starring Colin Firth, Pride and Prejudice. Number 4, The Commitments. Number 5, Silence of the Lambs. Actually, wait, let me do this again. Number 5.
Wow, those lambs are getting pretty silent, aren't they?
Number 6, newly added, Devil in a Blue Dress.
Boop, boop, ba-doop, ba-doop, ba-doop.
Number 7, Dr. No means no and yes means yes. The patriarchy has got to go. Number 8, Cinderella Ever After. Number 9, William Wonka. Number 10, Bridget Jones. Number 11, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. I almost forgot we just
We
did that
literally
one.
just did that one.
Number 12, How Stella Got Her Groove Back. Number 13, Mrs. Basil. And number 14, Hidden Figures. This is a solid fucking list.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? I would recommend every single one of those books to the right person. They are all solid.
They are great. Like, I think we've really figured it out. If that makes sense. Like, I always keep thinking about last year where we were like, oh, that's an easy one. That one's definitely in the bottom. But
Yeah.
we've really struggled with where to place some of these like books and movies this time around. Because they're all just so good.
And it's funny because I'm now sort of feeling the pain that I think the Academy feels at certain times with years and the Oscars, when it's just like, all of these are bangers, guys. We're going to
Yeah.
have to split hairs to figure out, because Mrs. Basil, I mean, that's a good adaptation. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, it's not good, but it's not nearly as bad
Yeah.
as a lot of different adaptations. So there's still good things to be found. It's a pretty good list.
Yeah, I feel like all of the adaptations for the books we've read always boil down to it could have been worse.
Yeah.
Like, there are just key things that made them stick out as not being as great as they could have been. But it's definitely not a Eat, Pray, Love situation. It is 100% not a Ready Player One situation. Am I right?
There's scaffolding in the Orlando area that looks exactly like the cover of the Ready Player One book. and it's triggering for me to drive by.
Well,
I hate it.
you didn't read Ready Player 2.
You did that to yourself. I don't know why you
I
don't like yourself.
know, I
If you
know.
can't love yourself, how the hell are you gonna love somebody else? Can I get an
Amen.
amen?
Amen. Amen. Can I get an amen? Can I
Amen.
get an amen? Put on a shiny sequins gown. Sequins? Really? Uh, but with that, one, happy birthday, Kristina.
Thank you.
I'm glad that your birthday pick was a gift for all of us.
You're welcome. I'm very generous, God.
Yeah. You're my boss.
What's up, guys?
Get
Surprise, surprise, bitches.
Can I have a
Guess you
raise?
should have been nicer to me in high school, huh?
Can I have a raise? Boss.
Sure, I'll give you 2 extra gumdrops.
Yes.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm a kind God.
Yeah. Our God is an awesome
Awesome God.
And on the 7th day, she birthdayed. And with that, now that the birthday celebrations for both you and I are over, we are going to basically time travel to like 1999
Yeah.
with a classic film. A film that if you haven't seen it, what is happening here? Because this is one of my all-time favorite films. And a book, honestly, I might have spark notes this book in the past, and I'm officially going to read the whole thing. I'm
Yeah.
going to officially do it. The next episode is Dangerous Liaisons. I'm so excited. And Cruel Intentions. I am running. I am going to be singing Counting Crows and just Bittersweet Symphony for the rest of my life. Like, leave me alone. I'm in my feels. This is perfect.
I'm excited because I think it's so much fun to do these, like, the Clueless one, and even Ever After and
Yeah.
Cinderella. Like, you take something that is its own thing, but it's still been adapted from something else, and it's fun because, like, Clueless, it would be fun to, like, pit Clueless against other Emmas, because I think in a way it's better. Like,
Yeah.
it really does kind of capture the original, mood and tones and everything from the book. So I'm super excited to do it again with Cruel Intentions.
Yeah. It is. This is so peak 1999.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, the cast.
Yeah.
The
soundtrack.
Oh my God. It's going to feel so good. Like, we have Selma Blair. We have, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Ryan Phillippe. We've got Reese Witherspoon. Where the two of them met, fell in love, and, like, created babies that look exactly like them. Genetically modified babies that look exactly like them. We're going to end up having to talk about the MTV VMAs that year when Selma Blair and Sarah Michelle Gellar won Best Kiss.
The way you said it was like, we're going to have to.
Yeah.
Like,
my hands are literally like, look at these. They're tied. Those are spirit fingers, but they're tied. Okay, so the last time you watched this movie was when?
I was 17.
I'm excited
Long
for
time
you
ago.
to see. Like, I haven't watched it that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe within the last 4 years was the last time I watched it. I'm excited to see how it. Did you like it when you saw it?
I liked it, yes, but I wasn't obsessed about it.
Yeah.
I had friends that were obsessed with Cruel Intentions, and I was like, it's good.
I'm excited to see how you feel about it now, and I'm excited to really try and compare it to the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
I do think I liked the like Michelle Pfeiffer, Uma Thurman,
yes,
John
that's such a good
Malkovich,
movie.
Dangerous Liaisons. I liked that one a lot. I would say I probably liked that one more than Cruel Intentions, which is why I think this is going to be very fun and interesting.
Yeah. I feel like I have a play. Sorry, I'm looking. I feel like I have a play on my shelf over here that is based off of Dangerous Liaisons as well. But it's
Yeah.
not Dangerous Liaisons, so I should take a look. Because that'd be fun to look into too. But I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Ah,
Me too.
cause it's a bittersweet. Listen,
Tina
listen.
Turner doing Bittersweet Symphony? Hell yeah.
Da-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na. I do what I can for the birthday girl. But
Aw, and we shimmy so well together.
we do shimmy well together. See, if you guys rate, review, and subscribe, maybe you can see it too. No. No. Um well, Kristina, with that, I think now it's time to say goodbye to all our company.
Bye, company.
Bye. Hi, the party already ended, so get out.
Bye.
no.
Don't door hit you on the way out.
No, but seriously, thank you guys for joining. Thank you for joining Kristina's birthday party.
Thank you. Thank you, Jesse, our Q.
Yeah, our
Always
Q.
doing the hard work.
Yeah, don't forget to rate, review, subscribe. And once again, happy birthday, Kristina.
Thank you.
I like that we're doing this right now because it's technically before your birthday, so I get to be the first person to wish you happy birthday. I take pride in that.
I'm
Yeah.
excited for my birthday this year.
Oh, I'm so excited for your birthday this year too. Can't wait to find out what Carlos gets you for your birthday.
I can't wait to give Carlos my present I got for him for his birthday.
Listen, their birthdays are amazing. I cannot wait, and you're gonna have something from me. But we're just gonna leave it at that. No spoilers. So
No spoilers.
No
But you
spoilers.
do get me the best presents, I have to say.
Stop showing Annabelle. I feel like we should thank Annabelle for being on the podcast.
Thank you, Annabelle.
Thank you,
She always
Annabelle.
watches me. Everyone.
She watches everyone. She's always there watching. Like Ross and Mike Wazowski. Always watching. Okay, but seriously.
You didn't file your paperwork.
Mike Wazowski. Oh, no, but seriously, Kristina, I hope you have a great birthday.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks. And with that, everyone, you can leave now, okay? Unless you're Don
Bye. Happy
Cheadle.
birthday, everybody.
Bye.